Hello everyone, and welcome to the Variable Productivity live stream. I am your host, Rodolus, provided this is actually working and the stream is running, which it could very well likely not be. Let me just check here. Gonna have a pretty chill, pretty short stream today, about as long as this music is gonna run.
Deeply connected to the ball.
Wow. Am I not streaming? Or am I just recording? Oh, no, I'm streaming. That's good to know. Yeah, like I said. Short stream today, nothing crazy. Just enough to get some rigging done, and then I'm gonna probably peace out after that. We're doing new rigs today. Well, not new rigs, I'm gonna continue working on Speedy's rig like I was last time. And then we're just gonna go to sort of move on from there. Let's just get the proper stuff showing here. Yeah. Alright. Let's go ahead and get started, yeah? Without further ado, here's Speedy. Was doing some work on him in between. I did finish his eyes. I will probably continue to work on them because they're not 100% done yet. Let me just make sure the music's not too loud. Yeah, and the music is playing. I hope people can hear it. Alright. A lot of materials coming in. There were some issues in rigging him because you didn't see that process, unfortunately. But there's some issues in rigging him because, I don't know, something about the poly count. A lot of pieces weren't like connected off the bat, so there's just a lot of things that needed to be adjusted. I might add some squash and stretch to his tail feathers, but for the moment, I'm just starting with this basic stuff here. But to create his eye controls in a moment. But he is, what you might call rigged. Not 100% done yet. These are his eyes that I have so far. They're a little bit off because of, they have like their exact mirrors of each other, and that's not how that's supposed to be. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to put his rig, move that back to an object. Just going to make a layer for his rig. I don't know what's on this. That's probably more stuff for the thing. New collection. And call it rig layer. Speedy rig. Okay, and then we're gonna hide it. I don't need to see it. Right now, it's not important. I'm gonna hide the camera too, don't need that either. We're working on materials today. I believe his eyes are a part of his head, so that's gonna be wild. Is it still mirrored? I think it is. Okay. So, in order to get them rigged, we're gonna make some adjustments to that. I'm just gonna check something. Yeah, okay. I do have the right thing. Just gonna separate them real quick. They don't need to be a part of the thing. Alright, beautiful. And they don't need any shade keys. We don't need that on here. Undo, undo, undo. Shade keys don't matter to him. The shade keys are for his eyelids for right now. I'm going to actually rig them later. They were just to kind of open his eyes and close them, but that won't be necessary in the near future. Wait, were his eyes like that? I don't even know. I think they're naturally like that. But anyway, hello and welcome to the VPL.
Hey.
Alright, so just doing a little work today on Speedy's eyes. I finished
We're
actually
working on Speedy's eyes today.
Mm-hmm.
make it nice and clear. So, does he need like a prescription or like a test? What's happening?
So I'm just going to be playing around with the textures a bit. I'm going to be flipping them, making some materials, or like separating the materials, because right now they're the same thing, and I don't want them to be. So let me just check to make sure. Select.
So since the last stream, Sonic Frontiers footage came out. What do you think of Sonic Frontiers to the lovely audience at home that cares about that? I'm assuming not, but also sure. And
several people care about it.
I mean, sure, yeah, no. What do you think of all the different Sonic Frontiers things that have come out in the past, like, 2 weeks?
Outside of the official releases, I haven't really paid much attention to anything. I mean, maybe some commentary been given about it, but so far, so unfortunate. I am not going to sit here and bash the game right now. It doesn't currently exist in the hands of anyone, but it's not looking good for Sonic Team, and it's looking like it's going to be a miss. Like, I'll probably end up playing it a few years from now or something like that, maybe, but it's not a day one purchase, unless I see more from it, and currently I'm not seeing enough to justify a purchase.
Thing, like, the only people that I've heard say the game is phenomenal are IGN outlets, which I don't entirely put my faith in to deliver honest opinions.
Well, they're delivering maybe their honest opinion as people who don't care about Sonic games that much. They're like, it's fine. Maybe it's something that they want, because some people really like the idea that it's an open world game, and they think that that's just the bee's knees. That's what they've been waiting for. You know, there's difference of opinion.
I'm torn between thinking that that's their opinion and also that Sega paid them to show off the game specifically for a month.
Well, they do have to cover they do have to cover it for a month. Yeah. But that's that was their decision to make that way. Sega didn't tell them, hey, make a month-long coverage. That's just how IGN operates. So maybe they're trying to be as positive about it as possible for that 1 month. Because if they started off saying it sucks, then what the heck is the rest of the month going to be about? More things that suck about it? I can't imagine that's going to foster good relationships with the companies that they're trying to show games off for, not just Sega.
It is funny seeing the IGN thing and how they're all like, oh, they the popping could use fixing, and then you see that, game dev video, and it's like, no, this isn't happening. This isn't getting fixed.
Maybe he's wrong. I doubt it, but it's
Did you see the game dev video? You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly. Yeah, no, I saw it. I posted it in our staff chat. Hang on, I got a message. Just a second. Who's messaging me? Oh, that's the server. Hang on, that's programmer tryouts. They're just adding me right now. Let me just say thank you. Thanks. Nice. I'll do it. That cat on follows up with.
This is real-time game development right here. This is behind the scenes here. You get the insight into what Rotalist does outside of the streams, which is
message people. Yep, I message people, I talk to them, I set up meetings, and no one shows up. Hey, Mecca from the 80, IGN being dishonest? No way. Game journalists saying something they don't believe in. Impossible. Hey, Mecca, it's nice to see you too. How's it going? Follow up with you regarding your application. And just respond to that.
Oh, you actually click the send button. I just press enter.
Whatever, man. I hit the send button when I'm on a phone. I click enter. I click enter. You can only click enter on your computer. There is no send button. It doesn't let you.
I'm thinking, what's it? But yeah, no, like the IGN, not the IGN footage, whatever, because the footage we saw, like,
Mhm.
wasn't IGN. IGN's just talking over it.
Yeah. So it's not their responsibility to make it look good. I mean, even if it was them doing their gameplay, it's not their job to make it look good. They're not saying it's PR.
I'm
Let's call
thinking
this
like,
one.
what is it? It was like there are things in the game that I look at and think, yeah, that's fun, in like a 15-second like footage where it's clearly on
Oh.
rails and it's not
I like
like
that,
you're
then.
not controlling it.
I don't want that at all.
It's
Speedy
like when
line.
Sonic's running on that big like dragon thing, you know what I'm talking about? Did you see that? Like it was in like the Sonic Central thing. Like
I
it
did
was.
not. I've literally not looked at much of anything.
Oh no, it's Sonic running in like on a giant like pathway that's being constructed in front of him, like Starlight Carnival, and he's
Dragon
running
Road.
a big like robot dragon kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
you have to like quick step out of the way of like things that it lays on the road, a la Sonic Boom.
or friggin' every Sonic game. Sonic Colors did that too.
I know. It specifically reminded me of Sonic Boom because of how fast the projectiles like get laid out in front of you before you get a chance to dodge.
Okay. Wait. Oh no, did I not? I didn't. Go back.
What is it? There was a random video that Fractor put in the chat last night that was about a guy that apparently like saw Sonic Frontiers footage. I looked at it, had a really clickbaity looking thumbnail, but whatever. But I looked at it, and if it's to be believed, he did say that what is it? You can just fall off the world, and when you fall off the world, it says try again. Like it's Sonic Forces or
like
some
it's
crap.
Mario.
What?
Alright, well. Is there something going on with my stream? No, it's not. Okay. Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. That's not a problem. It's like, try again. It's a game. I mean, if you were expecting red text to appear like, you died. I don't know. That's the...
No, I'm thinking, I see, when they say try again, it instantly makes me think of Sonic Forces.
Oh,
so I'd love it if it was just the Sonic Forces try again screen.
Honestly, it'd be great if it was like that little too bad scream, like...
Or you get the whole classic Sonic game over screen that lasts like 15 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Like, oh, come on. This is too long. For a game about speed, you're taking too long with this.
Oh man, that was another thing the guy brought up, which was like, there's a speedometer in the game, and it never goes beyond 10.
Well, it's below 10 miles an hour. You're talking about that video that Fractor shared. Yeah, no, I saw that.
Yeah, no,
he didn't play the game, though, right? He just watched it?
I don't believe it inherently, but, if it's to be believed, like, yeah, no, you saw it too then, right?
No, the video? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about something else, I guess. You were talking about the dragon thing. I didn't hear about that. I didn't see that.
No, that was in the Sonic Central thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's...
13-second gameplay reveal.
That's the one that I did not see. Okay, well, okay, here we go. Here's what we're gonna do.
But, yeah, no, like...
Material.
Like, if it's to be believed, though, like, you made a lot of comments that were all like, yeah, you're never going fast. Like, it's very slow. There's, like, loading screens for everything. You need to stop to watch a cutscene or get a message or do something else or something like that.
Hey. Oops. Shade UV editor.
The comment that stood out to me, which I hope is real, and I want to see, is that there are enemies in the open world that do absolutely nothing.
Well, it's not... Oh, okay, so here's the thing. There's enemies in Sonic games that do absolutely nothing, but I'm guessing they're not the same type. Those enemies that did nothing were supposed to be like stepping stones for you to homing attack. I guess he's not talking about those types of enemies.
Yeah, because that wouldn't make sense in this game.
I mean, they have those kinds of setups where there's little balloons for you to attack, and I guess that makes no more sense than stationary enemies. But I guess...
I really don't care about what they're putting where in that game.
On the X-axis? Ooh.
I mean, if there's one thing that game doesn't look like, it's cohesive.
Hang on.
Again, I thought like those bridges when they showed it off in the trailer. I thought it's like, oh, that looks out of place. Probably like an Eggman base or something, like an entrance to it or some crap like that. And it's like, no, it's just a bridge.
A bridge to nowhere.
Same bridge that's pasted in multiple places.
Oh, this is the part that I hate, trying to line this stuff up.
Did you see the interview?
The interview
they did?
with whom?
Azuka.
I believe so. Parts of it. I didn't watch all. Maybe I did watch all of it. There just wasn't a whole lot. You know, he was just sort of like talking about.
In Zelda, another open world.
Yes, I did see parts of that. Yes, he was talking about
like,
other open world games.
It's like they usually use RPG mechanics, but the core with Sonic is a 3D action game, so we took that formula and put it in an open space. Basically, we made a giant Sonic level and just bigged it.
That is a problem, I think. Hey, how's it going, Inktition? Welcome. To you. Working on Speedy's eyes right now, trying to make sure that they're not, you know, wall-eyed. I don't know, for some reason it's kind of difficult to make them not look like they're all weird, but we're working on it.
But what's like the problem with that? Like what you were saying a minute ago.
The problem with the fact that we just invigorated a Sonic level is the fact that those are linear and they have very distinct and defined goals. They want you to run forward as fast as you can to get to the exit. But there's no exit. It's an open world game. You can go anywhere and do anything. You're just going to go fast. It's like, well, that's the problem. It's like that's not suited. It's not well suited for the space. Sonic going adventure fast platformer is good for big levels like you would find in Sonic Unleashed or even, dare I say, Forces. That was the idea behind those levels. Obviously, Forces with a pared down experience.
Like,
yeah.
They were big, but they were linear and controlled.
And you could go with ultimately a highly curated experience where you would run from one end to the other. And I think Izuka was even saying that, like, well, we wanted you to have more freedom because we wanted to have the gameplay, I guess, of those kinds of linear levels, but we wanted to give you the ability to go anywhere.
It's like they're like, we want more options for the player. How do we do that? Just put it in an open space. Like, they didn't think about this.
They probably should have thought about, well, I guess that's where the RPG elements come in, because there are RPG elements, if I'm not mistaken. That's what people have been saying. Maybe that's not true.
Skill tree and experience.
Like, that looks good. Bring back
and when they say, like, other games focus on RPG mechanics, like, you are, though. What are you talking about?
Now, I think there's not going to be a deep RPG system, is probably what I'm getting for, is what we're getting for that. It's not going to be, like, super in-depth.
Article that just came out that interviewed, like, an IGN person or something that Fractor posted earlier that said that you upgrade Sonic's speed over the course of the game.
Rotor Crisp. I'm out of the loop. Don't worry about it. Rotorless is fine.
It's basically that you upgrade Sonic's speed over the course of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I worry about that because I think that the first thing I think of when I read that is Sonic and the Secret Rings, where the game controls like awfully at the start, and it only becomes fun after you grind and level up Sonic after like 12 hours.
Well, maybe that's what this is. It's a grind game, but maybe they fixed the grinding mechanic. Well, not the grinding mechanic, but you know, the grinding. The rail grinding is the same as it's ever been, but I don't know.
It's one of those things where it's like, what is it? They also said that Amy like gives you hearts and upgrades and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, all right then. Amy gives you hearts and upgrades. That's what we wanted out of Amy.
Let me see what it said.
Put Amy in the game. Sure, she's heart and upgrade
Sonic
though.
Gradually becomes like, this is the interview that Fractor posted. This is from Tails' channel. It's like Sonic gradually becomes faster throughout Frontiers via a level up system. The tutorial is described as awkward and took around 15 minutes.
Okay.
Once the tutorial over, the whole experience was described as phenomenal.
Like
it feels so juxtaposed.
Well, maybe they were expecting the Roblox stage. They're like, oh, this is slightly better looking than that.
The soundtrack changes when a player encounters an enemy.
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, this is a point worth bringing up. The level design in Frontiers is worth exploring.
The level design is worth exploring. Well, it would have to be. That is all you've got to do in the game is explore. It's like a veritable Sonic adventure. Hey, PJ Squared, how's it going?
There were no non-playable characters in the demo.
Well, thanks for that, Mecha. Inktation, I feel like the speed is the one thing that doesn't actually upgrade. You might get a move that helps you move faster, but I don't think there will be any speed upgrades. Mecha from the 80s, I have more faith in your project than in Sonic Frontiers XD. Would rather wait for Armada. Oh my god. That's giving... Or I'm giving them too much credit, says Inktation. Well, that's a huge vote of confidence, Mecha. We'll try to be worthy of it. Also, I guarantee you, regardless of what this game is like when it comes out, it will be free. So you won't feel cheated, hopefully.
Right.
Okay.
Oh man. What else does the thing say? The player can boost with the R2 button, and it was described as limited like in the previous games.
I'm gonna do that.
Amy will here it is. Amy will give the player a reward in exchange for the collectibles and Frontiers.
Sort of like Millie. Okay, so when that guy was in the demo, he was picking up little Amy collectibles. Little aimables. Grab a little,
It makes me think that, like, each of Sonic's friends on each of the islands will have their own little collectible. So Amy's heart-shaped tails is something else.
A wrench. I don't know. I can imagine that. That ain't the worst thing in the world.
Oh my god, imagine Knuckles being trapped and you have to collect emerald shards throughout the entire open world.
Sonic has to collect the emerald shards and Knuckles is all pissed about it. He's like, you didn't do it right! You didn't dig into the ground! Getting to the earth makes yourself dirty. I hate that bat, but at least she knows how to dig for emeralds.
Well, what did you think of the Knuckles preview for the short?
I think it's a Knuckles preview for the short. It's a teaser. They said it was a teaser, and that's exactly what they did.
It's practically a still image.
It moves a little bit, so it's like a motion comic. Maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe that's all you're gonna get. What do you want for free? Alright, let's see here.
I am a little bit like, I mean, the last thing I'm worried about in this game is the story, but like, I'm thinking, what's it? Like I am a little bit concerned for that, considering that Sonic and Sega have a tendency to basically make this plot and then put all the good, like, foundational stuff in, like, side content and then do nothing with it in the actual game.
Yeah. Hang on. Okay. Grapple on the x-axis.
What do you think of Sonic Adventure 3 being confirmed in, like, quadruple air quotes? Because everyone's, like, saying that now.
I think I said this before, I think it's just something that Iizuka wants to do, but he's not in charge of making any games. He's just like, it'd be great if this wasn't a Sonic Adventure game. Wouldn't it, guys? That'd be fun. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Come on, guys.
You think it's baiting?
Oh, he's baiting us? No. I think that might be generally something that he wants to do. Because what's he baiting for if he's not actually going to do it? He's got the access. He can talk to people. He can make things happen. He can go like, hey, how about we work on this?
Like,
it's not like you had a mandate. Like, I guess maybe they did. But it's not like you have to not make these.
No, because that's the thing, right? It's like Sonic, Iizuka basically acts as like Sonic's PR face. And also like a producer. And it makes me think like... Frontiers isn't doing well. People are looking at it, thinking it looks bad. Pull the adventure card and say, I want to do an adventure game at some point. I haven't thought about my next game, but I'd like to take what we learned from Frontiers and make an adventure game. Like, it feels baity to me. Like, he's basically trying to be like, I haven't thought about my next game, but if Frontiers does well, then maybe we'll do Sonic Adventure 3, I don't know.
I think that might be a little extreme, and, like, unreasonably cynical. I'm not saying that it's not. It's wrong. It's just it seems unnecessary. He doesn't have to do that. It's not like it's gonna get him anywhere anyway if he doesn't actually ever do it. People are just gonna like disbelieve him. How often does he say he wants to make Sonic Adventure?
Right? Every couple of years.
Maybe. Just hear me out here. It actually hasn't happened. It's just something he wants to do.
Oh man.
But he
That could
just
be the
can't
case.
get greenlit
Absolutely.
for it.
No, absolutely, that could be the case. I'm thinking like, I think everyone is getting excited over nothing, because it's like,
I don't think anyone's excited about them. I haven't heard. I
No,
haven't
I've
taken the
seen-
temperature. You might see more than I have.
no, I've seen a lot of people lose their mind, being like,
Target.
Sonic Adventure 3 confirmed. Oh my god! It's like no. It's like you need to remember who like you're listening to right now, and like
He's a dreamer.
you know.
He doesn't want to work
Like,
on anything.
it's one of those interesting things where it's like Sonic Frontiers has such low, like, it's set such a low bar, and people's excitement for it it's seemingly non-existent for most at the very least, that the second they dangle in any sense the Sonic Adventure 3 keychain in front of their face, they lose their mind and think, oh, the next game will be good! Like, it's like, oh wow! And it's like, I find it interesting that the only worthwhile...
Hello and welcome.
Who is that? It's Jinxed.
Welcome, Jinxed.
But I find it interesting that the only worthwhile piece of information that anybody cares about is the like, vague tease of a Sonic Adventure game, and then nobody cares about anything else Azuka said about the game that's coming out in 5 months. Like, everyone's just moved on. And it's like, this game, whatever.
Well, really just depends on what's in the cycle. Hang on. I need to do this to test it.
I mean, if we do get a Sonic Adventure 3, what do you think about that?
Well, if we do get a Sonic Adventure 3, it'll have to live up to all of the hype, which is probably one of the reasons we're not getting it. Because it's like Half-Life 3, they're just like, look, man, it's easier just not to do that.
Unless this game doesn't perform well, I think they have Sonic Adventure 3 set as like their break in case of emergency, like last door. Like, that's what they have.
Well, I don't see the point of even doing that if they're not going to put a serious effort in. Hang on. Alt.
Well, it doesn't matter, because it's Sonic Adventure 3, and that's a title that would get people's attention and people would buy it.
Yeah, it would be. But if here's the thing, in case of emergency break glass, you were talking about, if the last game was no good, didn't sell well, and it's tarnished the reputation of the Sonic the Hedgehog, break the glass, but people are going to be more skeptical of that game now. It doesn't get a chance to sit on its own and be its own thing. It's got the weight of Sonic Adventures previous, and, like, you know, how good or bad those have been, whatever. And it's got to overcome the negativity created by the previous game, which would have been Sonic Frontiers in this case, should it happen to bomb. So, like, that is a bigger gamble for them. I don't think that's in case of emergency breakcast scenario at all. That's just how I think about it, though.
I don't know. I feel like they definitely...
That's the nail it. That's the kick ourselves when we're already down.
In my mind, it's something about, like, me thinking about it, like, yes, that's a reasonable thing to think about if you were, say, making the game or looked at it from, like, a creative standpoint or, like, how people perceive the kind of thing, which they do, but I think it's more so we need something that sells well, pull the title, and make something. Because the title would get buzz.
See? Please work.
I haven't been here for very long. Have you read all the comments here?
I have read all the comments so far.
Okay.
They've just been listening to us.
Like, what is it though? I was thinking about this yesterday. Like, if they made a Sonic Adventure 3, what would that even mean? Because I thought about it. It's like the only consistent through line throughout the adventure games that anybody actually talks about consistently is Sonic's gameplay. That's it. Everything else is just either different or isn't seen as, like, quintessential outside of Sonic's gameplay and multiple playable characters. That's it. Like, everything else could just be whatever, I think, from different people. Like, it doesn't have a cohesive style.
Mm-hmm.
A Sonic Adventure 3 could basically be anything.
It could be. And I guess that's what if they're going to be working on one, they're trying to find what works and what they can do. I mean, I feel like that would be the way to go about it. Just like, hey, what are people reacting to? What are they liking? What are they not liking? And then if they don't like this, then they're going to be like, hopefully they would retool it. If what Izuka says is actually true, and he's like, I'd like to see some of these things implemented in a Sonic Adventure 3, next Sonic Adventure game, which is what he said. He's like, well then, hopefully, if he's serious about that, then the correct course of action would be to observe the response to this game's gameplay and how people react to it, and then go like, all right, here's what people did like, here's what they didn't like, and then take those lessons, and if the game doesn't do well, then we know that overall the thing that we were doing isn't the path to take.
They actually
and then
learn the
ignore
right
them.
lessons.
Yeah, you'd want them to do that, and if you're out here trying to make money and be a good developer, then that is, I think, the solution. I mean, that's what you do. Like, you do that even during playtesting. You don't put out a whole game without, like, being completely ignorant to how people react to it. That's what playtesting is for. Like, even when we get to the point of it, we're going to have our own rounds of playtesting because we want to make sure that the game that we're making isn't just fun in our own heads. And we're like, well, this is great because it works. But it's like, no, we want to make it good.
It works. It's functional.
This is just the bare minimum that it functions. Of like, hey, we're good. That's enough.
We did it. It's
Yeah.
functional. Oh my god. Put it
Yeah.
out before we break it.
Yeah, no. So like, that's gonna be when we get to that point. We're actually gonna open up playtesting. Big scoop to anyone who cared. We're gonna have playtesting when we figure it out.
I'm thinking like I'm thinking about, like, as time progresses, I've said this so many times, but I am very, very excited to see what the Switch port of Sonic Frontiers is like.
I think it's gonna look muddy. I feel like that's not a hard thing to say. It's gonna be muddy, and it's gonna have. Maybe it's gonna have that that Zelda Ocarina of Time fog around it.
Oh my god, yeah, no, it's gonna have some N64 texture.
Just hide it. Like, just hide the fact that the open world, it's open, but, you can't see most of it.
Will the entire open world be an Ocarina of Time PNG?
Hang on, let me see something here. I need to
They made an open world on the Wii U. They can do it. You know what? They can still do it. There was an open world Spider-Man game on the PS2. They can do this crap.
Yeah, sure. They can. It's not impossible. It's just a matter
the whole
of...
city. It's just, how good it looks.
Yeah, right?
It's one of those. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, it's also the fact that they are definitely making a PS4 game and trying to downscale it to the Switch, and the Switch basically hurts every single, like, non-Nintendo made game on it to some extent.
Okay. Let's see. There's some things.
Like,
okay.
if you're making a major game and you're not Nintendo, you will have a harder time making that game on the Switch. Which goes without saying, but it's just a matter with how far behind the Switch is in terms of power in general, that any game being made for PS4 or PS5 will more than likely, unless you're making a more simplistic, like, indie game, you will, like, get a lesser product out of the Switch version. Like, absolutely. And it will be a pain to develop for. The only difference between this and the Wii U era is that the Switch is selling well versus the Wii U not selling well, so people actually do want to put up with, the pain of porting stuff over.
Oh yeah, no, it's probably considered worth it. It's just, a lot. Hang on. I'm referencing another model right now, that's why you don't see anything happening at the moment. Track axis Y, I see. Z. So now this should work.
I was looking back at the leak, like the Sonic Frontiers leak from like last year in January, and it's completely correct in every way.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of rare situations where it's like, oh, this is right. This is actually true. Jeez. Sometimes the leaks are real.
That means you pay attention to all of them.
Yeah, well.
Oh man.
They're not, I guess, it isn't right to just discount them out of the gate just because they're a leak. But it was weird. It's like, how would you have this kind of insight? But I guess, no, I guess it's legit.
You literally led with, I played a demo. I'm a playtester. This is the dev. What?
This is the dev build. Okay, well.
Oh man. Do you think they'll release like a demo?
Of the game?
Yeah, like
Probably not. They didn't do that for the last couple of games they've made.
they did that for Fortunes.
They
It
did?
was like a minute-long time demo.
Was that well, okay, so I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know they had done that. So,
Yeah, but
it's
they
possible.
only released it in Japan, so you had to create a Japanese PlayStation account to play it.
Yeah, they released it in a place where no one cares. Oh no! It's not that no one cares in Japan, it's just weird that they didn't release it anywhere else. But if it was a minute long, I guess it's not really a depth.
It is interesting too, because I think the game is defaulted to English.
Yeah, so it's
the
like
Japanese
the Japanese audience. Yeah, they got a real treat. They got to sit through a game that they didn't. If they didn't understand English already, they weren't really gonna be able to enjoy all that much.
I don't think you need to comprehend language or.
Sonic the
read it in
Hedgehog
order to
transcends
play
language.
Sonic Forces.
No, in fact, it might help if you don't. So the story and the language and the reading, it doesn't quite lie. Oh, okay, I see. That's why it's like that. I don't know. Let's put it down. It doesn't matter that much. I thought it might, but it's tracking to this bone. That's what matters. Move this up a little ways. Okay, hang on.
I'm definitely looking forward to the release of this game, though, to see it like somehow be good, like you said, in spite of itself.
Yeah, I'll just be
Or
like,
end up
whoa.
being bad.
We really, we whipped it on that one. You showed us all the wrong things, and somehow you made it a good on it. I'd love to see that.
No, this game's
You showed us
this
all the
game's
wrong
actually-
things, yeah.
It's like this game's actually fantastic. It just looks terrible to play.
It's like, what a bold marketing strategy. Can it keep offset? Wait a minute.
Maybe they think they can do what the Sonic movie did and release terrible footage and then fix it late.
Ooh, I think they don't understand how movies work or games, which is weird since they are a game developer. Games are a lot more intensive products than movies, and like movies are not easy to make by any stretch of the imagination. But like, there's a lot less. Like, you don't have to create absolutely everything. They don't have to rebuild James Marsden, right? They just have to bring him in for a reshoot. You know, they don't have to fundamentally alter his bone structure or the way he walks. When he walks on the set, like, sir, can we just replace your bones with these prosthetics? You need to be taller, or something, and not a thing. We just reshoot the man. Yeah, no, it's it ain't gonna be easy.
Unless you're wearing like makeup or something.
I guess so. That's one thing, but
Your
I'm really.
motion capture suit.
True. I mean, honestly, when James Cameron made the first Avatar movie, like after they did the principal shooting, he just went back in there into the volume and used that as a place to kind of like, you know, move his camera around and record the footage because they captured it already, but they just sort of like they had like a rendered world and then they had him walking around inside the space as though he was in that world, like a video game, and just moving the camera around himself. And he was able to play around with that kind of stuff. Again, that's about as close as you can get to video game production.
I love that the Lion King remake tried to be all, we're pioneering this new technique using VR to, you know, like use the camera in the open 3D space.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
several movies
you're
had done
not-
that by that point.
Yeah, no, you're not new. Like,
I found that interesting too when I heard about it. And of course, then I didn't know they were touting that before I saw the movie. I didn't know about that until after I watched that dude's review on it. And it was just like, yeah, no, there's a bunch of movies that did that.
Watching more about that movie makes you realize how far up themselves they were while making that film.
They're like, this is just gonna be the breakthrough. This is gonna be. It's like a nature document. It's like, I didn't go to the first Lion King movie. Oh, of course, I was a child. I didn't have any choice. I didn't go to see
Go to the first Lion King movie.
to see a nature documentary. I want to see the animals talk and sing in a way that animals don't do.
Your entire project was doomed to fail from the start because you're not committing to either of what you want. Because you're making a nature documentary where the characters talk and sing and you're doing this big epic. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Kids don't like cartoons anymore. Jon Favreau.
No, I mean the entire thing behind that, like, I guarantee the reason that was greenlit was it's Lion King, it's popular, 30-year-olds will buy it. That's
Also, Jon Favreau, he's done pretty good on some previous films, and we just want to see more of that. I can understand that. It's just, eesh. All right, now we gotta get the controls. So now that
that's
we've,
the thing about the Disney. That's the thing about the Disney remakes. They are not made for new audiences as much as they tout that. They
no,
are
they're,
made for people that saw it before.
yeah. And honestly, it's what's weird because like they're like, oh, people who saw it before, they'll show their kids. Like, I could just show my kids the original Lion King, and they'd like it just as much. They're not gonna go like, where are the CGI graphics? I don't like this art style. It needs to look more like Adventure Time.
Little Timmy, little did you know, all of this is computer generated. I mean, at least now it is. Not then. Like, I mean, well, no, the wildebeest were. They were
CG. They were CG. Which is funny to think about, because I didn't notice that, and now looking at them, like, oh, those look terrible. If you look closely at them, they're like, oh, that's cheesy as hell. But you know what? They created the overall effect.
I don't think they look that bad, like, while you're watching the movie. It's only if you focus on
No, that's exactly it. I'd never focused on them. They were just like, oh, I'm looking at Simba, and he's running away from the it's like it's a lot of effects layered on top of it.
Man,
it's fine.
That's the curse of being somebody like all of us, being like people that like actually write or make art or model things. It's the curse of being able to look at those products and think nobody else would think this is bad, but we can look at it and be like, no, it's not that good.
Yeah, I mean, the wildebeest. Yeah, the overall effect created by that scene, it's not a problem. It's not the wildebeest's fault. It's great. It creates the tension. It's like, oh no, there's the wildebeest, and they're running down the side of the hill. Like, that was really cool.
Oh, the dolly zoom on Simba is so good.
Yeah, no, I love dolly zoom. When used correctly, dolly zoom creates an effect that I like. Let's see here. I
love Sam Raimi movies.
All right, him all. Just using that. I was watching this one movie about, not one movie. It was a video about how Sam Raimi worked with the what are those guys? Coen brothers on the Hudsucker proxy for their and I was like, oh no, I can totally see it now, because it was like this whole thing about he was their second unit director and he helped write parts of it, and it was like the hula hoop scene. Have you ever seen the Hudsucker proxy?
No.
Okay, well it's not hard to explain. It's a lot to explain. It's about this man who's brought into a company and finds him, like, he's like working in the mailroom, but he finds himself at the top of it. It's like, this small man versus the big cynical machine, blah blah blah. It's pretty good. And he invents the hula hoop, and it's this massive success and blah blah blah. But there's a sequence where they're making the what's it called, they're doing all the bureaucracy and background for making the hula hoop, and it's just like this really, really live scene where you barely see anybody moving or anything like that. But you'll have to look at it. You'll just have to watch the movie. It's a pretty good movie. Check out the Hudsucker Proxy at some point whenever you feel like it, or don't. I don't care. I enjoyed it.
What about the dolly zoom?
Oh, what about the dolly zoom? There was dolly zooms in it. There was a lot of movement of camera. There was a lot of camera work. Sam Raimi, because that's the only reason. Because Sam Raimi was in it, and he directed a portion of it because he was a second unit director, which I did not know what that was until I watched that video, which is pretty neat.
Oh man, like, no, I love Sam Raimi's stuff when he's like allowed to do his thing, because he's so like, that man knows how to like shoot a movie.
Wait, this ain't it. That ain't it. Where? This is the color,
like,
isn't it?
I love how like Sam Raimi isn't afraid to get wacky and just have fun with camera movements.
Yeah. What is happening? I'm not seeing any movement.
Are you gonna see Spider-Man No Way Home, the more fun stuff version? That's the official title.
What is the... What?
Oh, you didn't see it?
What is that?
Spider-Man No Way Home, the more fun stuff version.
The more fun stuff version. Interesting. Oh, hang on.
They're re-releasing the film in theaters in September, with upwards of 20 additional minutes of extra footage re-implemented in the movie through deleted scenes.
Oh, I did not hear about that. Hang on
Yeah.
just a second. Wait a minute. Oh no, did I?
Like, there's for example, they're gonna have an extra 5-minute scene of Peter at high school near the beginning of the movie when like he comes in and he's like, oh, my identity's been revealed and everyone's paying attention to him around there.
Right.
They're gonna have a 5-minute extra scene exploring that, whatever that is.
This is right.
They're going to have a 1-minute scene titled the Undercroft montage, whatever that is.
Okay.
And they have the banter between like the Spider-Men at like the Statue of Liberty
Mm-hmm.
has an extended version with an extra 5 minutes of banter.
Okay. Exciting.
On top of that, there are other clips that are potentially in that release. One that I want to see is the battle between Tobey Maguire and the Green Goblin.
Oh.
That was fully shot, just never like completed, but it was fully shot.
Okay, so it just has like a lot of it's all the footage, but they just didn't put in the CG or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Or the compositing and all that. Well, that does seem interesting. I don't know if I'll see that in theaters, but it's releasing on the Blu-ray, right? Or
We don't know. It just got announced like the other day, and they're like, in theaters, they're re-releasing it with all this stuff in it, and I'm like, I hope it gets a DVD release.
yeah, that'd be pretty baller. That's pretty baller, yo.
Because like the only reason I'm worried about it is because Spider-Man: Far From Home got an extended cut with deleted stuff in it, and it was only released in theaters, and the extra scenes were only like separated on a separate Blu-ray release.
Oh, okay. Well,
So I hope they don't
can't
pull
watch
that and like.
So you want to watch them all mixed into the actual film itself?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Hopefully you get your
It is
wish.
a weird title though. The more fun stuff version.
Yeah, a little
It's not
bit.
like extended cut or something. Just like this.
It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek title. Hang on. Open drivers.
It reminded me
editor.
of Guardians of the Galaxy though, with how like weird it was. You have like the purple No Way Home logo, and then just like in a completely different font in yellow, just splattered across the screen. The more fun stuff version, like this, it feels like Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Like Volume 2.
Okay, so what? Scripted expression. I want rig I.L. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little bit.
There was also, it recently came out, this will not be in the movie, I guarantee it, because it was only in script form that we saw it. But we do know that they did film some of this scene to some extent. Might have been the whole thing, but we don't know. But they did film and write an entire scene where Tom Hardy was going to be part of the final battle. And what would happen was that the symbiote would be removed from Tom Hardy and moved to Tobey Maguire, and we would have seen the black suit from Spider-Man 3 again during the final battle.
Gratification asks, what do you think about the cyberspace level reusing Generations assets? If you're gonna steal from yourself, you better steal something that people liked. I don't know. They're supposed to be rehashes, I'm guessing. They're not real world.
I want them to move on. I want them to move on from 2011.
Those were our best years in Sonic, the original Sonic games. Like, are we a joke to you? Honestly?
I've said this before, what is it? Sonic is the equivalent of, like, that guy from, like, your high school football team that's just constantly obsessed over a touchdown he got, like, 20 years ago, and he's held on to that for his entire life. Z-rotation.
I said, maybe Rodolus will get this. He's like Al Bundy. No, he doesn't.
Al Bundy is a character from a movie, is he not? Or is he an actual...
From a TV show? Oh my gosh. You're a similar age to me, Rodolus. How do you not know?
I didn't watch a lot of sitcoms when I was a kid. So that's why. Al Bundy...
You're a similar age to me, yeah, but I absorb different meanings.
Some of the stuff we absorbed was similar, but this is not one of those cases. I'm sorry. I could not reach into my memory there. World space. Is that what I usually use for this?
I am a little disappointed
Edit driver.
that Sonic Origins isn't going to have the Sonic 3 soundtrack.
Otto Euler. It's not gonna... Yeah, well... They just couldn't make it work for you this time, local space.
The fact that they're removing it, though, from digital storefronts is extra, just bad. Because if you want to play the original version of Sonic 3, I guess better have a GameCube or a PS2. If you don't have those consoles, get comfy with emulation, because otherwise you're not playing the original Sonic 3 with the original soundtrack ever in an official way. Or, like, a good way. Like, and it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, serious question. How is playing, like, to the people that really hate emulation, right?
There we
How
go. It works.
How is playing an old game on a console that they don't support, like a PS2 or like a GameCube or something? How is that okay, but emulation isn't? When in both scenarios, the original copyright holder is making no money from that.
I don't know. I'm not gonna answer the question because I don't really understand it. Open up the thing. What are people telling me? What are people saying? Nothing. Factorification. What are your opinions on the reuse of Generations assets? Let's ask you that question. Let me just ask people's questions back to them. Because we've already expressed our opinions.
I mean, he said before in the staff chat that he finds it annoying that they're not committing to really doing new stuff if they have Generations levels in it again. Like they're half-assing it again.
Oh, well, I suppose that is an answer.
They just can't move on from 2011 because they don't have any confidence in any of their original ideas and they're stuck in the past.
Stuck in the past.
It's like they're afraid.
What are you afraid of? I'm afraid of my future.
It's like, boy, you're Sonic the Hedgehog. You have Sonic the Hedgehog.
If you've got...
You released the highest grossing mediocre to bad video game movie ever created. Like, it's one of those things where it's just like, you have resources, you have brand recognition, you could release anything and make money.
His eye probably shouldn't go that far over.
You can make
Be good. What should we though? Alright, so we got that. That looks good. I wonder if I want to give the...
I mean, no, I was just saying it's the nature of it. I'd argue, to Sonic fans, if they want good Sonic content, to either look at Sonic fan games, or just go to indie devs that understand Sonic gameplay more than Sonic does, because Sonic's lost Sonic gameplay.
Alright. It's cheaper that way, says Peck from the 80s. I mean... It's weird to say something. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and it's definitely true, and there's a hinge of cynicism. But it's also, it's absolutely true. It is cheaper, but it's weird because it's you made a whole new game. So, but I suppose that would require that the game had its own specific or unique art style and look to it. And in some ways it does when you got the techno robots, but they're not that much more complex looking than the stuff they made for Boom. Obviously different group of people, different team, but it's
they also use the Phantom Ruby effect for their transition.
Oh, I wonder if that's maybe... It probably has nothing to do with the Phantom Ruby. It'd be great if it did, because then it's we're expanding them on the lore of the Phantom Ruby in this game. Which is something that But of course, I think that would require the writing team and the artistic team and everyone else being, together on the ideas. Kind of like Frontiers. They had people write it in English, but those guys didn't have any control over what the developers were doing, I'm sure. They probably already made the game, and they got to make a story fit around it. Which, typical, that's how games are often made, but it's weird.
I honestly don't know. If somebody else can correct me on this, do that. But, I don't... The only game where I think Contact and Graph actually, wrote the script was Lost World. It's the only one. I think they were just translators.
Yeah, they might have been, which is weird. It's they were localizing it. They were we were the localization team. What are you guys getting on our backs for? So I don't know. Thought you had more control over it. Why would you think that? I'm just gonna line those up a little bit different. That way it's a little, I don't know. Maybe that makes it look better. I'm gonna ask. Well, no. I'm gonna try to keep it simple. Because I have to redo all this stuff in Unity when I make it work. I have some plans about how to do that, but it will be difficult. It will be crazy. Basically... Oh, I thought you were asking me a question. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, are you excited for Sonic the Hedgehog Pez dispensers? They announced...
If I was a Pez collector, then I would be. It's a weird thing to bring up. Is there a large subsection of the fan base that's really into Pez collection, dispenser collection? Because you see them all over the place, but they're mostly just junk that people have in their drawer. I don't know.
Just hunks of plastic.
Look, man, everything that you buy from Sega is going to be a hunk of plastic.
Not everything's a hunk of plastic, but it's a worthless hunk of plastic. It's a little... Like,
It's kind of weird. It's like, well, I guess if you really want that, you can. Okay, time to stop messing around. Time to start new driver. Put this here first, though. New add driver. Rig old. I don't know why it's called rig old. I don't recall naming it that, but whatever. I track
I guess
L.
this is something to think about. If you were designing Sonic Frontiers, what would your philosophy be if you were making it?
I was designing Sonic Frontiers from, like, I guess I'd have to take a what's the guy's name? Freaking, and maybe you wouldn't agree with this, but wow, Cory Barlog type of approach, where we kind of like look at everything that we've made in the past and you're like, all right, we're gonna start afresh. We're making a different type of game. So we've got to defend anything we're going to keep in this game. I was watching the making of God of War, Cory Barlog documentary film thing that they did.
One, the new one or the old one?
I don't know. What's the new one?
God of War, PS4.
Yeah, that's the one. Obviously, because that's the one that Cory Barlog directed. He's not directing this new one that's coming out.
I don't know who's directed what.
It's okay, fair enough. The only reason I know about it is because I watched that video. Like, I'm not in here being an insider or nothing. I'm just saying, like, oh, hey, how's it going? I'll allow it this time, but please keep it civil in my comments, Silver. So not much, man. We're just doing some work. But yeah, no. So I was watching that thing, and he was talking about, like, we basically kind of got everyone together, and we just sort of had meetings or whatever, and they just sort of. They argued for or against certain mechanics, and they, like, everyone had to defend it. It's like, and the reason to keep something was not because we've done it before, and it's what the players are used to. Is like, we had to make it work for the context of the game. So if you were to make a new Sonic-type game, which is an open-world game, which is a game, effectively, that's never been done for the Sonic franchise. Sonic is not an open-world character. He's not an open-world play style. Everything you do needs to be fit and set for an open-world environment. Because... Sonic just running fast. And this is one of those things where I know that they don't, because there's no possible way that Sega or Sonic Team look at fan games like that. They just allow them to exist, and they don't care. I would look at them, and I would feel like, okay, so let's look at these fan games, and why don't most of these open world things work? It's like, and we just study that. We just make a study of games that have been made, and then, like, try to figure out the way, because if the mandate was we have to make an open world game, and it wasn't like something that we generated internally, like we all decided that we wanted to do that, but like, it came down from the higher ups. Hey, make an open world game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're all fired if you don't. And it's all like, and that was the job, right? The task that was set to us. I would make it a point to try to study that, unless of course I was really pissed off and wanted to just get a paycheck and I didn't care. I don't know. I can't live in that headspace. Because, the idea here is I'm an active employee and I like my job and I like working on Sonic the Hedgehog projects.
Well, that's the thing. You're working at Sega. That's probably not the real...
No, I'm just saying. I have no idea. But the thing is, let's say under these circumstances, we've been given that mandate to make this game this certain way. Then we're going to be looking at games and how they've done it. And we're going to look at the pros and cons of moving too fast, of going slower, perhaps, or like reorganizing the gameplay to fit a certain character. Maybe they didn't have the freedom to do that. Who knows? But I would like to make a study of what it is that makes open world games fun and what makes them not fun, and try to find a way to sort of fit ourselves right there in the middle, and then try to make, and then like from the middle of what makes it good being fast and good being open world fun, and try to really hone in and figure that out. Now, this is all kind of vagaries, obviously. I'm not in charge. I don't know exactly. But I feel like that's a good place to start day one, right? Before you start making anything, figure out what it is you're actually trying to do. Because it doesn't seem like... And I would say the things that I'd want to do is make a game that had objectives. And there's a reason for the open world. The open world is a natural part of the gameplay. So we got to start with making open world Sonic gameplay engaging, which is a lot of test levels, and then having you do things in those test worlds, and then trying to build out, level design that would feel like it's Sonic the Hedgehog and then also open world. This is, in my brain, almost like you can't have both type of a thing. Like we've seen examples of things where it's kind of fun, like your what's it called, your Sonic Utopias and your this and your that, but it's a real tough balance to strike, because you want to be free, but then you also want to be focused, and open world games aren't focused, and that's the fun of them. Like you play your Legend of Zelda, your Elden Ring. It's like you've got a general task, but everything in between that and what you're doing now and that final task is also fun to do. So you've got to establish a core gameplay loop that's fun, but then you also have to keep in mind that Sonic is a fast character. He goes fast. So everything he does is going to be fast going. I would probably lean more into those cyberspace levels and just use the overworld as a hub. Like, the point of the game is those cyber levels, and just really work on making those interesting and fun to play. And when you're on the open world, you're using that to traverse. It's fun to do too, but it's obviously not the place where you're doing most of your hanging out. Because
yeah, that's a funny thing. That's a funny thing because during the game's interview with Azuka, he was like, "We took the concept of the Sonic Adventure hub worlds and expanded it to the Frontiers overworld."
Sonic Adventure hub worlds, right? Okay, so you're talking about like your Station Square and your.
It was kind of a similar thing to what you were talking about, where they took the idea of a hub world and expanded it to contain the cyberspace levels, but they focused too much on the hub element.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's that's wild. What are the? Hang on. Will the music stop? Let me get some more music to play. That's like 37 minutes. I need more than that. There we go. Alright, what are people saying? Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like, I was thinking that's the way to do it, because I like to stop and look at the vistas. I like to travel through places while I'm playing. I don't play a lot of open world games, and sometimes they fall down that experience. Like the open world games that I'm most familiar with are Horizon Zero Dawn / Forbidden West, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. What else? I haven't played Elden Ring. I mean to. What's the name of that game that came out? It was Final Fantasy 16, but that's a poorly executed open world in my opinion. It's got the same problems that Sonic does. There doesn't seem to be anything to do in the open world. You spend most of your time in a car just sort of driving through it, and you're like, I don't really want to get out and do anything out here. This looks boring and empty. So I was really just going and finding the dungeons. I was looking for the bosses. I was looking for that. On top of the fact that they sort of whiffed it on that game anyway, because at the end of Final Fantasy 15, I'm sorry, I was saying something else. Final Fantasy 15, it just sort of railroads you onto this one track. Like, quite literally, the last act opens up with you on a railroad. And you're in the last part of the game. That's it. We're done, right? Everything is just showing you big open spaces, but you don't really engage with them, and it's not very fun. I feel like Sonic Frontiers is closer to Final Fantasy 15 with its open world than any other game that I've seen. Because Breath of the Wild, I enjoy walking around and climbing on stuff, jumping off shit.
Hear me out. Like, when you look at Breath of the Wild...
Excuse me.
And if you play it for a solid, 5 minutes, would it look like there's anything to do in the game?
Oh, to an outside observer? No, they wouldn't think there was anything to do. Probably because I'm just wandering around, looking for something to do. And then something will come up and I'm like, oh, look at that. I feel like that's the thing about open world games. They're hard to watch other people play. They're more fun to actually play when they're any good. So that's a tough call. See, maybe that's what's happening with Sonic Frontiers. To give them a little leniency, maybe it's actually a lot more fun to play than it is to watch. The boy in that video last night, he didn't actually play it, he watched other people play it. Now, of course, he was much closer to it firsthand, so it's not exactly the same type of experience. Hang on. I keep forgetting to do this. I'm just...
Might be better to play, though.
It might be better to play. You don't know.
I'm trying to compare, like, the experience of watching, like, Breath of the Wild footage compared to something like this.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so there's things like watching someone just really good at Breath of the Wild, playing Breath of the Wild, just getting all the stuff, doing their crazy strats. That's fun to watch. It's ridiculous. But if I were to watch someone start from the very beginning of Breath of the Wild and just running through the open world, talking to the old man, it's not that much fun. But of course, there is the challenge. You see Zelda, not Link, I mean Zelda. Not Link, not Zelda. Link getting hurt, being thrown around when he comes in contact with the enemies, and you're like, oh, that game looks kind of challenging. Like, I'm going to play this game, and it's going to hurt me.
My favorite experience playing Breath of the Wild, well, one of my favorite experiences, was playing through Breath of the Wild and dying.
You're like, oh.
First opening, like, 15 minutes, I'm like, yes.
You're like, whoa, I thought, and then it's like, no, you're a man lost in the wilderness here.
I was so happy when I died. Yes!
That's
because
right.
I'm like, yes.
It won't be too easy.
There's a skill ceiling. Thank you.
Or a skill floor. Right? You have to be you have to be a certain level to play it. Yeah, no. It's a game for all ages, and little kids can even get into it, but they have to wise up to the rules, or they're gonna find themselves dying a lot. And it's like it's got a high skill ceiling and a medium skill floor. It's not too crazy. You can get into it and play it. But you're gonna be playing it for a long time.
I appreciate it being a modern Nintendo game that doesn't hold your hand in any way. It's just like,
yeah, the only thing it tells you is when your your controller is unplugged. Like, I think at least pauses the game when that happens, but that's most games.
Oh man, like I remember climbing the tower. What is it, like the Hyrule Castle thing?
Mm-hmm.
And then I like accidentally like fell off or something, or forgot to climb the ladder, and I just died. And I'm like, oh, that feels so nice. I remember expecting to fall and only lose like 1 heart or something, because that's what 3D Zelda does, and I just died.
So, no, you fell too far, bro. Calm down with all that. Link, like Zelda's like, I can't do this again, man. I spent 100 years putting you back together. Copy driver.
Oh man, and it's like, oh man, what were some of your favorite moments in Breath of the Wild that like stick out in your mind when you first played it?
Random, but this wasn't even the first time I played it. But this one time I was hang gliding off of one of those peaks. I can't exactly remember. It was near where I don't know. You may have seen me do this. It was near where there was one of those memories, and it was like a balcony made of stone, just sort of sitting out in the middle of a grassy field. I landed down. I was gliding for like several. Not minutes, obviously I didn't have that much stamina, but it was a while. And I landed, and out of nowhere, I just get butted by a goat out of just boom as I land. It's like, whoa, calm down, buddy. And it was screaming, and I don't know what that was about. Other portions of the game that I liked when I first started playing, it was just, I don't know, trying to figure out how to survive in the cold areas when I was on the Great Plateau. Like, I was getting torches, I was getting hot peppers. There's multiple ways to do things. And because it was an adventure game.
Oh man, I wasn't even thinking to do that. I was just like, because I had no idea you could cook anything.
Oh, I didn't cook anything.
I had no idea that torches helped you, so I just like brute forced my way through like eating all my food. Yeah,
just like, took the damage. Right, it's just damage. It didn't make you slow down. How long are you on here? I'll be popping in and out. PJ Squared, I was expecting to do this for about 2 hours or so, maybe a few more. I'm just doing some texture work on our boy here, Speedy, trying to make his eyes and everything line up and some other things like that. But I'm not going to be on for too long today. I do have to take care of some other chores, but I wanted to, of course, show face and be present. Anyway.
Yeah, no, it's like you're... but I just, like, tanked all that damage.
Yeah, no, and that was a way to do it. And the fact is, I think that's one of the things about open world games at their best that allow you to just play the game where the game says yes more than it says no. And you can play the game however you want. The only thing is, like, don't die. That's, like, our only rule is stay alive, and that's it. And you gotta figure it out. You gotta figure out,
No, and in a Sonic game, you could like mess around with terrain. The game could just be like, it could be hard to reach this area, or you could just make your own challenges by like experimenting with the game or something like that.
What up?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
Silver.
how's it going?
We're comparing
Yeah.
the wonderful experience of Sonic Frontiers to the tragedy that is Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild,
Breath of the Wild, that is Sonic Frontiers.
Sonic Wild Breath. That's probably what
Wild
they're gonna call it.
Breath, okay.
Wild Breath.
Okay.
0.3.
It's the thing, right? I actually made a bit of a thread earlier, right? As
Mhm.
Suka said, we're not making an open world game. We're making a Sonic game. We're making a Sonic Key open world game. So my thought process is, okay, don't think of it as a typical open world game. Think of it as a Sonic game with just more open world. That explains the rails in the sky. However, the Xenoblade ass looking fucking aesthetic world, don't get me wrong, looks fucking beautiful, but out of all of things, right, it is the most out of place, including the enemies.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
If the world looked more Green Hill-ish or more Sonic-y in the Sonic-y world, the rails in the sky, I feel, would be a little bit more forgiving, if still looking a bit messy.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a fair justification, but
Like,
at the same time, it's like, it could be better.
it's
At
like
least
you
it-
think of it as an
it
open
could
world
look better.
game. It's like you think of it as an open world game. It looks weird. And then you look at it as a Sonic game in open space. Still looks weird.
It still
Yeah.
looks weird, but the aesthetic of like the island makes it even worse. If you made it look a bit more Sonic-esque, then it'd be a bit more forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
In the same style as Sonic Force's sort of art style.
Like, they said in the interview they were trying to create like a mysterious move where Sonic is sent to a different place, and it's like, okay, I get that, but also it sounds like you're trying to make up an excuse for why you wanted to copy Breath of the Wild.
There's that, and I'm not being horrible here, but the Sonic 06 model would seem more in place than the Sonic Force's
They
model.
do. They do.
Hmm.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the Sonic model, I'm talking about the world.
Well, yeah, but the Sonic Forces model to me, it feels more like that Sonic and Unreal Engine fucking video. Just
Yeah.
Sega
recording
hired this
reality.
man. Sega hired this man, right? You're talking about that.
Sega
Oh yeah, no.
hired this man.
Sega hired this man. Sega.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. Okay, good.
Yes. He's using Unreal Engine any way he can. Nintendo, hire this man. Anyway.
Oh man. I'm thinking like,
You're thinking.
oh
you're,
man.
You're always thinking, Cry.
What about like I'm thinking about Sonic Frontiers and how, but yeah, no, the Sonic 06, like Sonic 06's world is more Sonic-y than Frontiers. Like Sonic 06 had a better understanding of what a realistic Sonic world would look like than Sonic Frontiers does.
Really? Now,
No,
please
no.
explain
I
that.
don't necessarily agree with that. I agree with the fact that my main thing, and I'm saying this again. Sorry, I'm in the fridge. That's why I sound so far away.
I thought you were in the shower.
It's
Okay.
like- The main thing for me is the Sonic model in a realistic area. Change the model. Fuck it, I'm not being funny. The Sonic movie model would seem more in place than the Sonic Forces model. Change the model to like Sonic, but just like change the fur textures. or
That'd be
something,
the
make it feel a
weirdest
bit more
thing ever.
fluffier. Or just something, and that's fine. But that's
Silver, they had a year. They had a year to make the game. Okay, they needed to make something back.
They had 3
They had
months.
5 years to make the game, Cryo.
They had
You-
5. Okay, so they had 4 years to be told exactly down to the letter what the game was supposed to be, and then 1 year to execute it. I don't know. I have no idea. They're probably just a bunch of like Slack meetings or something like that. Just a bunch of pictures. I want you to make this look like that. It's like, well, that's not gonna work with the Sonic. I don't care. Make it work. I don't know. I'm not here to really talk about. I have no idea what they were going for. It'll probably be another 10 or 20 years before we find out why the game was made the way it
Then
was.
it'll probably just be, yeah, we wanted Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. And it's just like, that's all well and good if you wanted to make a Sonic Breath of the Wild game. just know
You need
that
to
the
understand what makes Breath of the Wild good, what you don't.
yeah, it's just like you gotta understand that, and then you have to understand that they put a lot of effort into that game. It was not an easy thing to do, and
Breath of the Wild took them like what, like 5-7 years?
yeah, it took a while. They were working on it, and they were working it, and you can tell the game they put a lot of effort into it. Like when you play it, you're like, this was a labor of love. They intended to make the best game they could, and I'm not here to talk about, the differences between that. It's just like, I'll have to really see the game in action by someone who's just playing it, maybe a review. I just need to see more of it. And I was like, what more do you need to see?
3D.
Sonic had a rocky transition into open world games, arguably a place he did not belong, because it's not key to his style. Like, you'd need to make to make the argument that you're making a Sonic open world game, you could just use a different character. I know they would never do that, because Sonic is the only character who exists.
I think a great balance, like, not like a full open world, just give us open levels.
Yeah.
Not even like a collectathon, but like a Sonic GT or like Sonic Hero or something, based on what that's doing, where you have a linear level, but it's very open and has a lot of interconnecting paths, and basically you make classic Sonic in 3D and make Sonic really mobile, and do that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, well, Uh-oh.
I can't wait to see Green Hill again. People are saying that it's not Green Hill. It's Green Hill.
I mean, it's a green place with hills, so.
It's Green Hill. You can see, you can practically see the Generations assets of, like, the wooded, like, little, like, panels and stuff.
Oh, you're talking about the stuff. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the cyberspace stuff, so arguably I don't necessarily have that context.
You know what? By the looks of it, if this game just comes with a fucking port of Sonic Generations, that's at least a fucking 8 out of 10.
Here, I'll just put this in Snapchat again, so you can look at it right now and tell me that's not Green Hill.
Cellular local space. Why is it not working? Okay, I'll take a look at it in a moment. What is happening? Not working. That's the name of this bone, right? This bone is called...
Where'd you put it, Crown?
I just put it in Snapchat. Like, tell me that's not Green Hill. That is Green Hill.
Yeah. Okay, just put the link.
Video could not be played.
It could be Emerald Hill, but you're not wrong.
Oh.
I did not.
Oh, yeah, no, that's... Yeah, that's Green Hill. That's like, that's Force's... Green Hill's looking a lot like Sand Hill, area. So it's probably Sand Hill. That's where you got it wrong. Can you imagine making a game about Tails? I can't! Nobody likes Tails, Mecha from the 80s. Gosh! What are you trying to do? Ruin the franchise? Freaking Tails?
I mean, don't they know what actually the developers behind Sonic Frontier? Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I just let that information slip.
You should not have let that out. This is our first outing. We're supposed to be... We are out in violation of the NDA now. Silver, we're shut down. That's it.
Come on, I've got a wife and 3 children, man. Don't fight me, man. Come on.
Legit thought experiment.
Wasn't paying you anyways. I don't know.
Could you even, like, in any way, could you even imagine yourself making a game like that, or imagine what it would feel like to have your name attached to that game, given the reception it's gotten?
Oh no, I already know what that feels like. If anyone here was around for the...
Well, kettle's boiled.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge... Okay, so like, man, I'm not even talking about it. My first demo felt kind of like that. I haven't even looked at any sort of feedback on it. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to deal with it. I want to just make it better. I know it wasn't good. It probably, but he has nothing to do with even making the game, but his name is attached to it. So it's like he's helpless. He can't do anything. It's like, I didn't make it, you guys. What do you... Please stop egging my house. Please don't. Okay, wait a minute.
Oh man.
Now why is it broken? It doesn't work. That's what's weird about it.
I can't wait for. I'm trying to think of a good thing in
Focus base, rotation, eye track, L.
like just undeniably like good thing that I like about it, and I can't think of a single thing. The
Well,
logo looks alright.
The
L.
furniture looks nice.
Yeah, there you go. What is happening? Speedy eye track, old rig, Euler,
I mean, they
local
definitely
space.
bought. I don't think that they like made all those assets though, like the grass and the trees.
Local space.
What?
I mean, they probably did. Or they got them from someplace, but I imagine they probably made those assets. But you don't have to make every asset. Sometimes you can just buy an asset pack. They're available on whatever engine they're making this game in. They found a way to put it in their rotation.
I remember watching somebody earlier today saying that it looks like a bootleg Sonic game.
Well, Sonic's got boots on his legs. What are you gonna do about it? It's not actively... What is making that not work?
Are you excited for Sonic Origins?
No. I mean, I've never been excited for Sonic Origins. Not that I didn't want to play it. It's just not a thing I got hype about. I'm a fake fan, I know. Jeez, whatever.
You like the good games.
I like the good games. I just, you know.
I just don't like the bad games, like Sonic Origins.
Oh no! I'm out here starting wars with people. Edit. Edit driver. What am
I was legit
Actual
after
rotation.
what's it? The music situation came out the other day. I was legit thinking about canceling my PlayStation pre-order to buy it on Steam so I can mod it later. And then I realized that the PC version runs off Denuvo, and I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Maybe that's what it was. I'm gonna figure my stupid problems out.
Do you know about Denuvo? Do you know
I'm
why
a-
it's bad?
I'm aware of it. Sorry, I'm really just trying to focus.
The man's developing a game, Cryo. Stop overwhelming him.
I'm not
He's not
overwhelmed.
making a game, he's making a model.
Yeah, that's nothing to do with the game.
Nah.
This guy's out here just disrespecting my whole craft.
You bloody Zoomers and your unquestionable ADHD problems. Oh.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, no.
right. That was what was that? Okay, hang on. Is that why that was like that? Because I didn't see it happening. My brain wasn't picking up on the fact that no, it's still not moving.
See, I'm a zoomer, which means I go fast. I'm more qualified to talk about Sonic than any of you people.
Well,
Okay. So you've got Rudely who's been there since day fucking one. You've got me who was born.
No, he hasn't.
A few
You've been there
years
since
after
2009.
Oh no, but you the fucking baby in the chat. Okay, no, that's fine. All right, Bobby. Okay.
No, because I go fast.
you go fast. Everyone knows you go fast.
Yeah, you go fast. Yeah, well, I go fat. Ha!
Ah,
I'm okay with that.
okay.
I'm thinking like
I think it's warm in Russia.
you haven't been there since day one though, Rodolus. You've been there since like
I don't recall ever saying that I was there since day one.
No. Silver said that, but I'm just like saying it to you
I said that.
specifically.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Well, catch me, Karen. Oh, I don't.
are you still waiting for the Archie comics to come back?
Why
Is
would I?
some part of you still longing for a continuation?
I need that freedom fighters.
Look, man.
2 p.m.
You need to stop making fun of the things that I like, Silver. Otherwise, you're
I'm
gonna
not
find
making
yourself
fun
on
of
the
it.
wrong side of the law.
I'm not making fun of the things that you like.
All right, can I do that?
I'm
Or-
just saying, like, are you still like longing in some way, like, want a freedom fighter continuation, or do you think it's just never happening?
Well, I mean, I can want it and know that it's never gonna happen. I
Look, as long as
wouldn't
Ian
mind it.
Flynn doesn't go down the same road as Kemper and doesn't make it some fucking fan fiction comic and turn
He already did.
into a fucking desk part of a person in the community, we should be fine.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I like what they're doing over there, and what's it called? Sonic Sonic
Season
Archie Online, Archie Comments Online. Then of course there's season 3. There's people who are doing things that I can engage with, and one of these days I'm gonna make my own Sally game, or maybe I won't. It'll just be a thing that I think about doing and never do because I don't feel like actually care.
Tales Adventure fucking multiverse.
Tales of Adventure Multiverse, right? They're just a bunch of different games about characters that we'd like to see more represented in games, and one of those is Tales of Adventure Armada, and then like do the Sally Acorn game, and then we do the freaking Big the Cat game.
Your entire career is just defined by making non-profit Sonic fan games about obscure characters.
I mean, it can be a start. I don't expect my entire career to be defined by that, but what is wrong? What am I not getting here?
Beatty's eye.
Delete this driver. 0.6. I don't know what's wrong with it. Like, I could.
Are you excited for Sonic Prime to bring back Sally Acorn?
I don't think that's what they're gonna do. It'd be nice to see that, but I'm not excited for Sonic Prime, like, at all. Like, I'm not really out here watching the cartoons, being worried about which one's gonna come out. I guess what you would say, more casual when it comes to my approach to Sonic media. I'm not hyped for anything.
Yeah,
Like,
Sonic is like a side franchise that you look into every now and then. You're like,
yeah, there's some things that I did like and stuff that I was really into. Edit this driver. Eye track. Okay. And it's great for that kind of thing, but I'm not out here like wondering or worrying about it. It's just, it is what it is. Until it ain't. In which case it won't be.
and then it dies.
Yeah, like, I have an interest in the franchise. I like characters in the franchise. I enjoy medium from it. It's like the original games, but you can't buy these on Steam anymore. Right. I see. That's an old comment. Sorry for missing your comment there, man. But yeah, so like, it would be nice. Oh, I'd love that. You showed me like some freedom fighters show up someplace in modern day medium, and it's not like stupid. I'd be like, that's great. First criteria, it can't be stupid. Can't tell that from a trailer, but if it shows up and then they make like the characters out to be losers, I'll be like, all right, you guys are all right. I'm done. I'm disengaging from this. I don't like what you did. You did it to hurt me specifically. And don't say that it wasn't. You don't say it wasn't personal. You're a lion. Wait. Yeah. So now this is working. I got all this working.
Do you want to see Ken Pender's attempt to sue Paramount?
I don't. I think that's a stupid waste of his time and everyone else's. But you know what? Ken Pender's is nothing if not the kind of person who's wasting his own time and everyone else's.
No, that's why I want to see it, because it'd be funny.
Funny until he wins, and then you're like, oh shit. Now the entirety of Sonic the Hedgehog belongs to him. He got the whole thing. Just because Sega got sick of it.
Sonic fan games.
Oh no, that'd be the first thing he did. So you gotta pay me money. You gotta give me money. Everything about me getting money from you.
Ken Penders joins the server.
I don't know. That'd be weird. I mean, I guess he's free to join the server. I don't know. If he causes trouble, I'm gonna kick him. That's the only thing.
Invite Ken Penders?
Hey, Ian Flynn, freaking, everybody's invited. They can come over. They just won't find very much to do since they're not gonna be working on the game. I mean,
no, Ian Flynn is gonna come in and be like, I really want to be a writer for Tales Adventure.
Like, hey, didn't you write for a game that paid you? Like Sonic Frontiers? Like, yeah.
No,
now I'd like to actually have some creative freedom this time. I don't care. You don't have to pay me anything. Yeah, ridiculous. I feel like there's enough to work with that we can make it work. But yeah, I wouldn't.
You want to work with Ian Flynn?
I feel like depends on his mentality and how he wants to add to the project. If he wants to come in and just say screw all this shit and change it, I'd probably be pretty upset.
Well, yeah, I
He
mean,
wants to give constructive criticism and work with us in a sense and bring his professionalism to the table, then that's cool. It depends.
it really does.
Just like everything in life.
It depends. So,
Um,
yeah, that's a safe answer. Hey, Ian Flynn, if you were thinking about joining Project Armada, just know straight up, we're not changing the story to put frickin', I don't know, whatever characters you've invented in it.
Tangle in there.
I mean, it's not like
How about Tangles here? It's like, I don't.
Like, no, man, I want to put all my like Archie recreated characters in the story.
like, I mean, you know, depends on what they're doing. They could be villagers. It doesn't really matter. But the thing is, yeah, no, I don't want anyone stifling anybody else's creativity or trying to run roughshod over the other riders, because that would create strife, and I can't have strife on my team. Otherwise, they don't work together, and then we don't get the story done. And I'm gonna be all mad because I brought in somebody who was effectively killed the project. So yeah, not letting that happen.
And no, and then you can make a YouTube video about it, get a bunch of views, and then build an entire empire of 14-year-old Sonic fans by saying, Ian Flynn, canceled my Sonic fan game, and you get like a big like clickbaity title, and you become like an anti-Flynn podcaster or
Oh
something.
no. Last thing I want to be is that. I don't want to be anti anybody who's in the community, provided they're not terrible people, obviously. But like, I just dislike some of the decisions you made in the previous comics. Like, yeah, well, get over it, man. It's not real. Right, rig. That's what I want. Rig old. I just make it from scratch. And we'll call it I track R. Yeah.
Are you anti-Sonic?
Anti-Sonic. That's Scourge.
Hey!
Hey! That's a reference. X
No,
rotation.
I got it.
Local space. This is
I remember when
all I
Sonic
need to do.
bought a simp clone.
grab along the X-axis. Okay, grab along the
Sonic's
Z-axis.
Fantastic.
Okay. Well, it looks like I just got to make it from scratch, and that'll work. Fine, whatever. Can't copy it.
Have you
Noted.
ever thought about like actually getting into the IDW comics, or do they just have like, or are you just not interested?
I don't know. Like, at first, it was too, like, fresh in my memory with the other comics, and they didn't seem to offer very much that was all that interesting. Like, I'm like, I don't care about this weird sort of, kind of, it's based on Sonic Forces, and it's like the characters just sort of running around being the Sonic Forces characters. I didn't care for that. It might have developed into something more since then. I haven't really been. Like, I feel like a lot of people never got into the Archie comics for the same reason that I am not getting into this. It's just like, it's too much stuff I'm not familiar with. I'm not interested in learning about it, and I don't care. I don't hate the characters. I'm not one of these people who are like, oh man, those suck because of the people who like them. Like, I'm not that guy. Not that guy in the slightest. I also don't find myself in a position where I hate any characters because they're Sonic characters, and like, what do you hate about them? What's your problem? I'm like, oh man, Fiona, she was bad. It's like, you know, she's not real, and they could rewrite her at any point. They just didn't do that. And she would be a different person.
I don't. It's not that I hate the characters inherently. I just really don't like Surge or like Whisper's designs.
I like Surge's design. Whisper may be a little bit overly overdone because she's just got too much stuff going on, but like, I don't like when she opens her eyes all the way up. It looks freaky.
I like when she does like the nasty crying face.
Well, that's just her nasty. She doesn't do that a lot. Do you think that's just like one of her faces when she smiles? She's like, she's, whenever she opens up or shows any emotion, it's just like this terrible, ugly looking face. Like, oh no. That's why she doesn't.
Oh man. I'm thinking about.
Not stupid? Okay, that's something we can't promise. Goodbye, sir. Wait.
I'm thinking about what's it like? The IDW comics are like one of those things where I'm thinking about it, and for like a mass multimedia franchise that loves advertising everything that it does at every constant rate that it can, why are comics always the things that are never advertised? The only things that advertise comics are comics, so that way nobody outside of the comic bubble really knows anything about them.
That's a.
Because think of the last time. Think of how huge Marvel is, and think of the last time you saw an advertisement for the comic book.
You see that on their websites, maybe comicvine.com. Yeah, they don't really put that too many places. In comic books, and when you go to Barnes & Noble, you'll see, like, here's the comic book section. Yeah, no, I get it. But I guess because comic books are basically just ad spaces anyway. Like, they have ads in them. They were designed initially to sell bubblegum and crap. So, like, you don't advertise an ad. I mean, they do that for movies, but that's... People don't like... They think that's stupid.
That's what the MCU is. It's an advertisement for itself.
Yeah, and for some, it's even an advertisement for comics, especially when you watch all those little lore videos like, well, this is the reference to that. Now, I'm probably never going to read any of those comics that they reference, because, like, that seems like a lot of reading. It's like,
You're not going to read all of the mainline Amazing Spider-Man run after seeing No Way Home?
I probably won't. I'm not trying to be a hater, but that sounds like a lot of literature. I did it once. I was on Snafu Comics. I was looking at webcomics like Bleedman's Powerpuff Girls Z and all those kinds of things. And, Powerpuff Girls Doujinshi, actually, is what it was called. But, then I saw an ad, like, it was on the forum or whatever. It was just like the things. It was like, Sonic the Hedgehog, issue 255. I'm like, how are there that many of those? And that got me curious. Because at the time I was watching Sonic X, and I was all like, what, there's a comic book? And then I read those. I was curious, and I wanted to know what that was about. Who are these weird people on the cover? I've never seen them before.
Maybe there could be like a modern day person that somehow doesn't know who Spider-Man is in their 20s, and then like looks to the comics and it's like, wow, there's actually like 1,000 issues of these. How are there that many? And then they go.
Yeah, no, it's possible. It's not impossible, right? That's the point of advertisements. You don't see them a lot, like you were saying, but getting people interested in something like that is sort of the point. Oh, you know why? I bet you know why this is not.
It does get a point where like the number becomes so insanely large to where it's
intimidating to start. Yeah. It's like I was trying to read One Piece, and like I got somewhere in it, and I stopped reading. I don't know where I left off, and I'm not going to start from the beginning again. It's just like
there's like 100 issues, maybe
of
like 200.
Yeah.
I can digest that.
Yeah, take a few afternoons out, read a few of the issues at a time. I was binge reading the Archie stuff though, because I was for some reason super interested in it. Like after issue 30, I was like, "Oh, this is really good." I don't know why. Maybe it's because it was summer vacation and I had nothing to do. But I was just reading them, and I was really into it. But yeah, like once a comic book series has like 1,000 in it, it's real tough to start to talk about getting into it. It's just like,
yeah, especially when you're dealing with like Marvel shit, because then you're like being like
all the crossovers and connections.
Yeah, you can't just read the numbered books, and not only that, the numbered books aren't like chronological. It's not like you just read from Spider-Man 1 to Spider-Man like 900 or something. The book 1 resets its number multiple times. And then also like, so you need to keep track of like what writer is writing the book, like what run do I move to next after this one concludes? When does this one conclude? When do I read like the side content, like the crossover stuff? Do I need to read like a side character's book that ties into another story? Like it's a mess.
Yeah, the Sonic thing, the Archie Sonic thing, when I was reading that run, it was like there was literally only one continuity for that. So any kind of other references they were making were just references to earlier books. And then they had the Knuckles stories. And then they had the super specials. And they're like, you could read that. Remember? That's a reference to this. Like, okay, fine, I might. But also, it's all in line with the same story. Like, you just telling me about it in the story, that's probably fine. But it's... Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with the Marvel stuff because there's so many different continuities. There's so many different stories that come directly into it. Like Wolverine might have like an issue that abuts directly into a Spider-Man arc, and it's just like, oh, I gotta go and read that, see why Wolverine's here. Like he might explain it a little bit, but it's like, hey, true believers, remember issue 46 of the second edition of freaking Wolverine storyline 5? It's a lot. It's like a subway station, but for literary.
Yeah, man. Well, like like Marvel Comics, DC and Marvel, they eat themselves. Like,
Yeah.
they eat-
That's why they have their little reboots and their like refreshes. Because like, look, man, people aren't going to get into this. And so the reboot for the Sonic the Hedgehog Archie comic run made some sense. It did, unfortunately, erase all the good stuff out of the freaking franchise. All the stuff that made sense.
I mean, there is an argument to be made that a lot of the good stuff was seen as excess fat that they wanted to cut.
Yeah, maybe. But it is the fat that I enjoy about the steak. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
Cut the
I
fat
like
off
fat.
of it. Don't
I
taste
like
good.
steak fat.
Anyway, you may not. I don't know. That's a
I
very
do.
specific
I
thing,
like
but
steak.
sure.
No, I like steak fat. It's good.
All right. So that's what I'm saying. It's like that's the stuff that I liked about it. It was the juicy bits, like the what's the word I'm looking for? The conflict for the characters, the reason they were acting the way they were. They're like, nope, that's all gone now. And then it's just so unceremoniously just dumped into the dumpster and set on fire. It's gone now. It's over. It's like, all right. That felt a little bit unnecessarily cruel.
The
It wasn't.
ancestors were taken away.
Well, Knuckles' whole everybody was taken away. Like freaking. Obviously, there are people who don't like Julie Sue, but I liked Julie Sue. She was fine. She was like a mean Sally Acorn. She wasn't really mean. She was just, I don't know. She was like Knuckles, I guess. And
I'm just thinking about like what's it? Like Sonic, Archie Sonic. You know, imagine talking to somebody like about your steak. They're like, "Hey, do you want me to take away? Do you want me to cut the fat?" It's like, no.
want me
Don't
to take the
take
seasoning
away
off?
my conflict.
Right, don't take away the conflict, right? It's not good for me, but I need it. Local space.
I'm thinking but yeah, no, it's like I
Please
think that
work.
like
Yes. Freaking
yeah, no, but
work.
like
There we
like
go.
mainstream comics, I feel like what is it? It does lead. I hate when like you know it's described when it comes to comics as like, oh, they just go on forever, they just do that. It's like not inherently, it's just that people only have the perceived notion of what like a big mainstream comic is.
That's looking crazy.
And it's like they're not the peak of what like the medium can actually be. Like like Marvel DC comics are like your main gateway into like the medium normally because they're what people talk about. They're the big ones that get all the attention because they were the first, I guess. But like, you know, they're not really the highest standard or like a great representation of what comics can be. They're kind of a mess. They're often not really as focused as they could be. They go on for too long. They don't have a definitive endpoint. They don't really often feel satisfying because they need to like constantly live up to reaching the status quo, so it doesn't really feel like things progress for longer than a couple years. Like they're not great like storytelling generally. That's why I don't like getting into comics. Because of that. Not like comics themselves, but like I'm talking mainstream comics. I don't like that stuff. It feels like meaningless and meandering sometimes.
Right. Hang on.
That's part of the reason why I prefer manga to some extent, because at least those have a endpoint.
Right. Yeah, typically. If they're good. If they're not, then they're gonna just go on forever.
Are you talking about One Piece?
Yeah, I might be talking about One Piece. I mean, One Piece is supposed to have an end eventually, but it's still a ways out. I don't know exactly what they're planning on doing.
No, they're taking a month-long break, the longest break they've ever had.
It's like, wow, how's that man not worked himself to death? Like, well, it's my only job is to make comics. I don't do anything else.
It's
don't-
not comics, Rodolus. It's manga.
Oh, it's different because it's Japanese. No.
It's just mirrored comics.
It's just backwards comic books that are all black and white. With maybe a couple colored images. But of course, if you're going to be putting those things out like every week, then they're going to have to come out, not every week, but like every month or so. They're probably going to have to cut some corners, and coloring them in just takes a lot of extra time.
Right? It's like, that's the thing about when it comes to like comics, right? It's like comics are a monthly thing. Manga is often a weekly thing.
It's just like, oh, jeez. Don't have yourself a freaking heart attack. Is it, who made that one? Junji? No. Wrong. No, completely wrong. I was thinking, nope. My brain was also like, Kubo Tite. Like, no. I don't know who does One Piece. It's somebody. And he's been doing it for a long time.
I don't understand the fascination with like adapting manga to anime. Like I get it, but it's like anime is often like technically like unnecessary entirely.
Well, not everyone reads the mangas, especially. I mean, you know, it's also secondary markets. Like, hey, people really liked the manga. Now let's put it on primetime television to make some more money off of it, obviously. And then
I think the main issue is that like it only like seems to enforce like an almost like rush split mentality, where like we need the anime. Why do anime and manga always need to run concurrently? I get why, but also like that's dumb. But also,
yeah, it's also like
leads to filler happening.
usually the manga is like made by like one dude, so like, and the anime is made by several, so he's like able to put out a couple of things maybe every couple of weeks. The people making the show, they tear through the season really fast, and then the dude's like, I don't have anything for you to do. I don't have any more content. What do you want? Like we're either gonna put the show off the air for like a month, or we're gonna make it about a tournament / beach episode / tournament on the beach episode.
or okay, so it's tournament beach, occasionally baseball.
Oh my goodness, sometimes it's baseball. That's right.
It could be the the characters going out for something.
Yeah, they're going out
chilling.
depending on the setting. It's gonna be a culture festival where we're gonna all dress up and.
Or it's a spa. Like
A spa. Oh my goodness. An onsen. An onsen is what I want Spa Land to look like. Something like that. Portions of it, at least. Anyway, the Z rotation. Wow. I need to focus my brain here. But yeah, no, local space. And that should work now, right?
Like, when it comes to filler too, like even the anime episodes that like focus on the manga, because the manga is often shorter, you have the like the episode that's based on the same issue of the manga needing to stretch things out.
Yeah, X rotation actually.
I mean
That was
that's part of the reason why I don't really like watching like the original Dragon Ball Z, because of how much fucking filler is in that. There's so much. There's so...
Okay, it's working now. We got it. Finally, it took like mostly the entire stream, but I got his eyes controlled.
Was there ever like a Sonic manga?
Yeah, Sonic X was a manga. Was it? Wait, maybe it wasn't. I'm thinking. Well, of course, the original Sonic the Hedgehog, like around the time that the first game came out, there was like a Sonic manga where it was like a little boy named Nicky who could transform into a hedgehog. I don't know exactly how closely it was to the games. And then there's Sonic manga. I don't know if there was. I feel like Sonic X was a manga, but it might have been afterwards. Hey, there was a promotional manga from the 80s. I guess so. Yeah, the Nicky manga. That's what I was thinking. And then of course, Sonic X had an Archie run for whatever reason. I didn't read it. I know it existed. They advertised it.
It's like the worst, like, well, not the worst part of Archie, but it's the most like boring, like bland.
Especially if you've already seen the show. Like, why am I reading this? If there's a show I could watch on 4Kids or whatever. It's like it's right there.
There's an issue where Sonic like fights a clone of himself, and the clone looks like classic Sonic.
That's fun.
Guys.
Yes.
Sorry. What's up?
Oh, hello. Welcome back. We're just talking about Sonic mangas and whatnot.
I'm thinking like, I can't remember the last time like I actually sat down and like read a manga or like a comic book like legit. I like them. It's just like when you think of comics, I'm trying to find like a really good place to read, because I love comics. I love reading comics. I haven't found like a really good outlet or place to like read some good ones. Like I think of like webtoons and I'm like, nah, not really. Why not?
Read manga online. Read comics online.
Oh yeah, right? No.
You want to do it legit? I don't know, man.
No, it's
maybe
not that I wanna do it legit.
Crunchyroll does that.
I'm not talking about piracy. I'm just talking about finding something that like appeals to me.
No, I don't know, man. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Undo.
I love the comic format, but like the last time I read like a comic that like really engrossed me that wasn't some like Marvel or DC thing was when I read like the Amulet books when I was younger. Like the graphic novels. Those are awesome. I love those.
Okay. Control P. Keep offset. Can I do it now? Is it working?
Like the oh man, the Amulet books are like awesome. Have you ever read them?
No. What is happening here? Oh,
they're
I
like
know.
this like they're like oh man, I'm nostalgic for those. Those are really good.
I'll have to look them up at some point. I think I've seen the covers, but I've never actually read them.
They're really fun. Go for like a sci-fi, or not sci-fi, fantasy feel.
Hang on, I'm gonna limit the rotation here.
Thinking about movies based on, or not movies based on books, but just books, and then thinking about movies based on books. I forgot about Artemis Fowl.
Yeah, and you should forget about Artemis Fowl. I think we would all be better off if no one remembers Artemis Fowl. It was unfortunate. I liked the book series a lot. It was one of my favorite book series by Owen Colfer. But it just, no, it was not well made, and they should not have done what they did when they made it.
Opening to 2020.
You think the reason it was bad because it came out in 2020, even though it was supposed to come out in 2017?
You think it was a fitting opening to 2020?
No, it was a very poor opening. There was a lot of good movies that came out in 2020. That was not one of them. Can I post a page from promotional manga on your Discord somewhere? I actually explains Eggman's motivation. Feel free. I think you can put it in movies, comics, and video games. It's certainly not spoilers. It's from the 1990s.
Hey guys, spoilers for Endgame.
Spoilers for Endgame. Sonic the Hedgehog is not in it. Sorry.
Spoilers for Iron Man 1. There's an evil bald man. That
Obadiah Stane is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Spoiler for one more day.
You're gonna feel bad about it.
More day. Spoilers for one more day. Spider-Man's an idiot.
One day more. Alright, I'm gonna...
It's like, I get it, you're all sad and everything like that, but why would you make a deal with the devil? Like, what are you doing?
Also, he's
Man.
like agnostic or atheist. What the fuck? You can't be anymore.
Well, no, that's just like there's like 3 devils in the Marvel universe.
Okay.
Oh boy. So I think I'm gonna call it. What's up?
No, I was saying like that's the interesting thing about like the Marvel comics or like DC universe, where it's like if there are like gods or like self-proclaimed gods that are like real people, you think like what is it? Would they even be viewed as gods at a certain point, or would they just be seen as like really powerful like beings?
Well, I guess you already have superheroes in that universe, so you're like, oh, they're just like a more powerful superhero, or supervillain, or super entity. Minimum of -25, maximum limit X. Ugh. I don't want to do this because then I think I might be limiting the artist's ability to play around with the eye texture.
What don't you want to do?
Put a limit rotation on the X and Z axis because I don't necessarily think it's necessary here. Because if someone like Rocket Pal wants to do something crazy with the eyes, I want to let them do that rather than be limited by how far his eyes can actually stretch. So I'm going to try to make these things less limited.
Probably share it to Rocket Pal, see what he thinks.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I also don't like the fact that it sort of overwrote. I think I know why it's doing that, though. These aren't parented to anything. I know what's going down.
Speedy's looking kind of good.
Thanks. I got his eyes, I worked on his eyes textures in between streams, and I added a rig for him, so I can kind of control him a little bit. Need to work on a few other things, but I'm very close to being done with the basic rig.
Another one of those characters where their goggles won't actually fit on their eyes.
His certainly will not fit over his eyes. They're just too small based on the drawings.
Yeah, like Imagine putting on goggles where the straps push right on your eyeball.
Yeah,
That's what this is.
and your eyeball is massive. Lots of pain, I imagine.
It's just right on here. Oh man.
But yeah, so like, there's some things that I need to work on, but we're very close to being done with Speedy. I just need to work in his mouth. I was trying to use that Auto Rig Pro, software. It's not as good as Rigify in a lot of ways, because Rigify allows me to just sort of make the rig any way I want it. Auto Rig Pro is all like, oh, I put the legs here. This guy has a tail that comes out to here, but Rigify's like, I don't know what to do with this volume, so it just makes his spine, like the base of his spine, sticks all the way back over here, and it's just like, well, that's not how he's supposed to work at all. So, I'm working on using Rigify. It's got all the little goodies in it that Rocket Pal wanted. So I'm gonna send him the rig soon to see how he reacts to it, see what he thinks of it, and yeah. What I gotta do now is his lips and teeth, which are gonna be a little bit difficult because of how big his mouth is, and I'm sure I can do it. It's just gonna be very interesting. Like, how does this man make an ooh sound? How do we do some of these things? Because his lip. In this case, it's his beak, but his beak comes all the way back down here. He doesn't have a mouth like Scream and Shout do. Their beaks are all different, so I guess it's fine. Yeah, different birds have different beaks. It's part of their personality, so it's okay.
Just like I think of like 2D art and how it's like that works, but I don't know anything about 3D stuff. I don't know if that's different.
What about 3D stuff?
Like, because like the whole creating an ooh sound with a beak could totally work, but I'm only speaking with 2D experience, not art stuff.
Right.
Not 3D art stuff.
Maybe I should have asked. Maybe I should have asked Vera for a side mouth, so we could just play around with different. Like, he just opens his mouth on one side. I could probably make a side mouth. I don't want to. I'll ask Vera to do it. Let's see if he can. Because his drawings have him as a side mouth character. But of course, we only have one angle on Speedy. So we work with what we get. Let's see here. What's going on? Yeah. I'm gonna run for a few more minutes. I'm gonna do something to. I think I'm gonna pose him. And then I'll just call it at that. We'll do another stream the week after next, and I'll be working on arguably something else. I don't know what it would be, but it won't be this. Hopefully. Unless I broke something, in which case it is. What else? So yeah, when it comes to character rigs, redoing all of them, I'm gonna even redo the Tails one. I'm gonna keep some parts of it, I think, the mouth and the lips and stuff. I got that to work. But,
So if Speedy is so fast, what makes Sonic special?
well, Sonic's not in this game. We don't have to worry about that. Also, Sonic is the first character in the entire franchise. He's still special for that reason alone. There were no other characters besides Sonic and Eggman, and then there was more characters. One of them was called Speedy. I don't know why they came up with a character that was also fast, but that was also a rival to Tails. Speedy's speed could be considered a cheat because he does use jetpacks, but then maybe he's just fast naturally, which I'd like to say that that's like his ability. Like, Scream and Shout have sound powers, and Speedy is fast and has a big old sword.
I want to play a good Sonic type game.
Not Sonic, but a good Sonic type game. And
Oh,
what?
yeah, because I'm not looking for Sonic for Sonic.
I guess you can play Freedom Planet again. I don't
played
know.
that before.
Play it again.
I could play. Actually, I did get Rystar.
What am I trying now? Rystar.
I'm thinking.
That's not really Sonic-like.
No, have you ever played Rystar?
I have not.
Oh, it's so good.
Alright, I'll take your word for it.
What is it? I could play Spark.
The Electric Jester.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that's
There's like a
the
demo.
fan game, right?
No, it's not a fan game.
Oh, it's not.
No, The same guy that made Sonic. You remember Sonic before and after the sequel, like the old fan games?
Uh-huh.
That person went on to make Spark the Electric Jester, and then Spark the his own series, Spark the Electric Jester, Spark the Electric Jester 2, and now 3. There's a demo out for Spark 3, which is like a 3D Sonic Adventure type game. That's like has momentum and all that kind of stuff. It's like it's a completely original thing. It's just kind of like inspired by Sonic to some extent. And
Right.
its demo and trailer were released on the same day as Sonic Frontiers reveal.
Oh, well, that's fun.
And apparently, I think there's like a demo out on Steam. I need to try that.
Alright. Cool.
I love seeing Sonic fan game developers actually going out and doing their own thing. Like I love it. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. Right. Let's see here. Region, origin display. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's the eyes. These eyes move around and boom. Well, I'm proud of this. There's a lot of work to be done left, but I'm gonna send this to Rocket Pal. I know he's currently studying for other things, but you know, I think we're getting somewhere, you know? Remember to put in your applications to become an animator for Project Armada, and you get to play around with rigs like this one. That's right, you get to enjoy the difficulties of animation firsthand.
You get to enjoy the difficulties of rigging an animation with one of these specialized Tales Adventure Armada models.
Tales of Adventure Armada. Don't tell your mother. What's the mother? Armada.
Don't tell your mother. It's she won't like it.
She'll be like, "What are you doing?" Be like, "I'm making a Tales game." You're like, put down the Xbox. It's like, it's not an Xbox. Darn it, Mom. It's not an Xbox. They're not all Xbox.
You should tweet that out for like looking for animators, but you make it like an old timey kind of thing. Like you make like a little like a 1920s like
A radio advert.
ad. Yeah.
Coming to you live over the airwaves, it's the Tales of Adventure Armada review.
You make an ad for animators and programmers like staff, right? But you frame it as like a war propaganda thing for like the battle birds.
Join the Armada. Currently, our Battlebird troops are not mobile because they haven't been animated. Great Battle Cuckoo Speedy needs you to join the fray.
Currently, our Battlebird troops are not mobile. They're either lazy or broken.
It's hard to tell which. They come from an impoverished nation of birds. And you know how birds are. Wait, is this supposed to be for or against us? I don't know.
No, it's like, you know how they are, they're poor. And you know what they say? You never want a poor person working for you because, you know, have higher standards. Like, seriously.
Only hire the rich. Anyway, scale this. Yeah, alright, so I'm feeling good about this. We're gonna do more over the coming days. I don't know. I mean, I know when we're gonna be streaming next. I want to thank everyone for coming out, though. I do have to take care of a few chores. But I did want to get some work done on the project. Talk to you lovely, lovely people. Thank you all for coming out. I'll take a look at that thing you posted, Mecha. Looks like fun. And yeah, we'll be putting out some more content, so keep your eyes peeled for that. More Tales of Adventure Armada goodness on the way. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Rotalist today. I've been joined by Jinxed Forever and Cryo.
Wow, you had to remember my name.
I don't have to remember your name. It's more of a mood. Anyway, it's just like a feeling, like a dread. And then you have to put name to it. I'm kidding, of course. That's terrible and mean.
Thank you.
Any case, thanks for watching, everybody. I've been Rotalus, and you've been wonderful. Goodbye.
He's waiting on that one. He's waiting.
Just let it play for a few seconds. Yeah.